everybody. I'm Tom Bond. I'm sitting in for Pastor Jeff Peterson on Connect. We welcome you in. We thank you for watching. We hope you will certainly enjoy this program today. We're in, as you may notice, we're not in the studio in Dubuque doing the program today. We're down in Cedar Rapids. Someone asked a bandit one time why he robbed banks, and he said, because that's where the money is. Well, we're in Cedar Rapids today because that's where our guest is. And I'd like to introduce you now to Bob Klaus. He is chairman of the Good Friday Prayer Breakfast here in Cedar Rapids. But Bob also is known in Cedar Rapids as Billboard Bob. And I'm going to take a guess that you probably are in the outdoor advertising business.
Yes, I am, and came up with the nickname because it helps people remember who you are, and so it's been a lot of fun. Got a website, billboardbob.com even.
Wow, that's great. I remember being introduced to you as Billboard Bob, and I remembered it from then on, so it works.
Yes.
Bob, I've been impressed since knowing you that you're a Christian, and that you're not afraid to state your faith and to be seen among Christians and doing things in society that promotes the kingdom of God. And I'm impressed with that, and I want to just ask you how you got into working in the kingdom, and when you became a Christian, and how did that come about?
Well, I appreciate that because I was not a Christian up until about 39 years old, so I had lived the fast lane life and done a lot of things that I wasn't proud of, and mostly living in Phoenix. I was down there for about 23 years. We became a Christian in the spring of 1987, and we ended up moving back here in the fall of 97. So got to spend 10 years down there going to some great Bible teaching and that, and God blessed me with a new wife, if you will, and I had never had any children, so God bless us with two more. I have two older children, but these two are now, they were 6 and 4 when we moved here in 97. They're now 21 and 23, so that's 17 and a half years has gone fast. The best part about moving back to my hometown has been getting reestablished and more involved than I ever was in Phoenix. In Phoenix, we had a Good Friday prayer breakfast down there, and when we got back here, the first year would have been the Good Friday of 1998, and it was a great event at the Cedar Rapids Marriott, and then for the next 3 years, there wasn't one, and from what I understand, the Christian Businessmen Association chapter in Cedar Rapids had been putting it on for years. Originally, it was, I think, called the Men's Prayer Breakfast. In fact, I still run into that at times. People say, well, can we come? And everything I do, I put everyone welcome because of that still hanging out there. And then it became the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. And so like I said, then for about that chapter fizzled out in Cedar Rapids. They're no longer active in Cedar Rapids, and so about 3 years went by, and then Kurt Warner had won the Super Bowl in 2000, and everyone in town and business people are trying to get him to come back, and I just started thinking about the fact that he likes to share his faith. You know, we had some things in common. In fact, I actually introduced him at the event, and I haven't done that since. But he graduated from Regis, which is where I graduated from. He was raised Catholic like I was. And when I introduced him, I said that was the third thing we had in common. We were both great athletes. And of course, everybody laughed, but so it was kind of fun. But it was turned out to be a good event. I'd never done anything like that before, and so I didn't plan on doing anything other than that one time. And the next thing you know, I started working on the next year and got Dr. Tony Evans, and that was a big event.
Right.
And so this has been doing it ever since. This will be my 13th year.
Well, that's great. It's a wonderful effort, and It's bringing attention and memorializing a day that's so important to all Christians. And Good Friday, sometimes we wonder why we call it Good Friday, because there was nothing good that was done to Jesus on that particular day, but it's what he did for us on that day that makes it good. I'd like to read from John, the 19th chapter, beginning with verse 1. Then Pilate took Jesus and had him flogged. The soldiers twisted together a crown of thorns and put it on his head. They clothed him in a purple robe and went up to him again and again, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they struck him in the face. Once more Pilate came out and said to the Jews, "Look, I'm bringing out to you to let you know that I find no basis for a charge against him." When Jesus came out wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe, Pilate said to them, "Here is the man." As soon as the chief priests and their officials saw him, they shouted, "Crucify, crucify." But Pilate answered, "You take him and crucify him. As for me, I find no basis for a charge against him." The Jews insisted, "They have a law, and according to that law he must die because he claimed to be the Son of God." When Pilate heard this, he was even more afraid. He went back inside the palace. "Where do you come from?" he asked Jesus. But Jesus gave him no answer. "Do you refuse to speak to me?" Pilate said. "Don't you realize I have the power either to free you or crucify you?" And Jesus said, "You would have no power over me if it were not given to you from above. Therefore, the one who handed me over to you is guilty of a greater sin." From then on, Pilate tried to set Jesus free, but the Jews kept shouting, "If you let this man go, you are no friend of Caesar. Anyone who claims to be a king opposes Caesar." When Pilate heard this, he brought Jesus out and sat down on the judge's seat at a place known as the Stone of Pavement. It was the day of preparation of Passover week, about the 6th hour. "Here is your king," Pilate said to the Jews. But they shouted, take him away, crucify him." "Shall I crucify your king?" Pilate asked. "We have no king but Caesar," the chief priest answered. And finally Pilate handed him over to be crucified. This is what we are remembering on Good Friday. And this breakfast, tell us about it and what takes place during that program.
Okay, let me comment about on our flyers and everything. We actually put Jesus Christ, the one who made Good Friday good, which ties in with
yes,
why do you call it Good Friday?
Yeah.
We start off with try to start at 7 o'clock sharp. We try to get over at 9 o'clock sharp because there are a lot of people that need to go to work that day.
Sure.
And so we've been really good at that. Up until last year, we had the actor Stephen Baldwin, and he is kind of a radical Christian, so he kind of got going a little bit longer, but it still worked out. But we start out, of course, with an opening prayer. We have the MC will talk a little bit about what's going to happen. We, of course, everyone has a program on the table, which has the order of events on it. Inside has a bio of the speaker, and in this case, this year, besides our speaker, which we're really excited about, we have a guest speaker who will actually introduce him, so it'll be a little bit different this year. And then we'll have someone sing a song, and then we have a quick door prize event where some restaurants have donated a door prize, a gift certificate or something. So we run through that, and then we have the opportunity for a couple beneficiaries each year. This year we've got Equipping Youth and His Hands Free Medical Clinic, and they spend about 5 minutes talking about their ministry. And there's a flyer or brochure on the table about it, and then there's the opportunity to support them financially or volunteer-wise or prayer, of course. So then that takes place, and then we have a little skit, if you will. We've got a guy coming up from Florida this year. He does about a 10-minute skit. He does his own poetry, scripturally based, and so he'll walk along the stage and do this little skit on that. And so then we have a time frame where we actually have people come up and pray about different topics. And one year we might pick to pray for the different ministries, the churches, military, that type of thing. This year it's going to be about basically the weekend of Good Friday and Easter Sunday and what that's all about. So that is an important part of this, is the prayer part. And then the MC will then, in this case, introduce the guest speaker, and then it's Governor Bobby Jindal, by the way, which we're really excited for. He's got a tremendous testimony. So he'll spend about 10 minutes talking about how he came to faith from his parents being from India. They were Hindu, and so they still are, in fact, but Bobby is not. He's a born-again Christian. So, and then he'll introduce our very special guest, keynote speaker that we're really excited about, and I'll tell you how we got him here, but his name is, of course, Willie Robertson of Duck Dynasty.
Well, we all know about Willie Robinson, I think. He is the younger son that's taken over the business and holding it all together. But we also know that the glue that holds that whole group together is Father Phil Robinson. So Willie is coming, and tell me what you know about him and the testimony that he'll have.
Well, I had seen him on YouTube where he spoke in front of, I think, his college that he graduated from, and it was very down-to-earth, common sense, practical, that, and I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to get him for the Good Friday prayer breakfast? And then last summer, my wife and I had the opportunity to hear Governor Jindal talk here in Cedar Rapids. And in his talk, he mentioned that he was friends with the Robertsons, and they had taken him and his boys duck hunting. So afterwards, I approached Governor Jindal and talked to him about that, the idea that, you know, if he would come and introduce Willie Robertson and that, and if he could be instrumental in helping get him here, because they were friends. And then I saw him 2 or 3 other times over the last year, and I reminded him of that. And, of course, God worked in his heart and in Willie's heart, and it all came together. And so it was really a God thing. Very exciting.
It is very exciting, and it's exciting to have Governor Jindal and Willie Robinson here as the keynote speakers on this special day. People are interested in coming, I'm sure. How do they get tickets, and how does that all work?
Okay, we have a website that you can go to at least get this information. It is goodfridayprayerbreakfast.org, goodfridayprayerbreakfast.org, and on the first page there's information that says that you go to the next page, which is about us, the second page, and it talks about the ticket pricing and tables, and all the information is there. And tickets are purchased at the Limestone Parable Christian Bookstore here in Cedar Rapids, Marion area. Steve Pickering has worked with us since I've been doing it now. This is my 13th year, and they do a great job. And so you can get the tickets individually or buy tables there. And then we also have sponsorship opportunities to help defray the cost of this event. And so, you know, you can buy a table for the regular price, or you can pay a little more and get priority seating, we call it. And then the next would be priority seating, and then you could have your business card ad in the program on the sponsorship pages. And the MC will ask everyone in the room to open their program, and will say, these are the sponsors that help put this together. We should support them. So there's a benefit for the sponsor there to be involved in it too.
The event, I'm sure, has grown over the years. How many people do you expect?
Well, because of the speaker, and that's, I'd like to think that the event stood on itself, and it does to a degree, but the speaker is the key. And so we've had some really good speakers. This year we expect, because of who it is, over 1,000. The Doubletree, downtown Doubletree, can handle 1,200. It would be kind of exciting if God decided that's how many He wanted there, but again, we'll find that out as it gets closer. But again, I would say we're probably going to at least go over 1,000.
Mm-hmm. And you've been doing this how many years?
This 13? Is my 13th year.
13th year.
Yeah.
So it's grown from how many back in 13 years ago? Just, a few hundred.
Yeah. The thing is, again, it depends on the speaker. So the first year I did this, 1,152 people came because of Kurt Warner. The next year, 950 because of Dr. Tony Evans. So we've had crowds in the meantime between 600 and as low as 350. So. Last year we had 660 with Stephen Baldwin. So it depends a lot on the speaker. So we're excited this year that we should be able to, I think, go over 1,000.
I'm sure. So people should make their reservation or buy their tickets soon.
Yeah, I think so. And just in case we were to sell out. So.
Yeah. As a Christian businessman and involved in things like this, obviously you think it's important to be involved in the works of our Lord in the community. You've done a lot of that over the years. So how has that affected you in your life, in your business?
Well, it's really been a rewarding experience because, I enjoy my job. You mentioned Billboard Bob, so I have the opportunity to go out and meet a lot of people in the community. I enjoy that part of it. I feel like I'm helping their business if they do outdoor advertising, and I feel like it's the most cost-effective, so I'm probably a little prejudiced there about the advertising part of it. But and it's rewarding, and I enjoy it. But this has been like godsend for me because, again, I don't feel qualified. I never had done anything like this before, but I think sometimes God uses the unqualified, and hopefully that way He gets more of the credit, which He deserves. So, and it's given me opportunities to be more involved in the community. People appreciate that, I think, and so. Again, I thank God that this happened because, again, I didn't plan on it for sure.
It's amazing how God finds us and uses us in different situations. I was teaching a Sunday school class recently, and it was a story of Jacob when he was going on a trip alone a few hundred miles away and looking for a wife, as a matter of fact. And he was sleeping on the desert floor. Wasn't thinking about anything else except the trip ahead of him and why he was going there. But all of a sudden God came to him in a dream, and God really spoke to him there. And explained a lot of things to him that he had never heard before. He heard God's voice for the first time. I think that happens to a lot of us as we journey through this life. He finds us, He uses us, and as you mentioned, you don't ever feel qualified to do it, but God always equips the people He calls to do things. I've found.
Yeah, and if we allow Him to work through us, that's our part, as far as I can tell, anyway.
Absolutely, He will show up.
Yeah,
and we know when when we're in His presence, and He will call us to do things that sometimes we don't feel like we could accomplish, but through the power of God, we can, and He will use us, just like He's using you in this ministry here in Cedar Rapids. The prayer breakfast is a wonderful idea, and especially on a day like Good Friday, a day when we're feeling a little bit low because of what happened on that day. But we're looking forward to the spectacular day of Easter Sunday when Christ is risen from the grave. And that's the whole basis of the faith that we live, the hope that we have is given to us by Christ. God raised him from the grave, and he now sits at the right hand of God in heaven and intercedes for all of us, and has promised us a life after this life. So it's a wonderful time of the year, the most important, probably, historical day of the year, especially for Christians, is Easter Sunday. And we go back to the prayer breakfast again. All of these people will come on that Friday morning to hear these speakers and to be reminded of what God has done for us through that time. If you look at Romans 5:8, God demonstrates his own love for us in this way. While we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And in 1 Peter 3:18 tells us, for Christ died for sins once and for all, the righteous and the unrighteous, to bring you to God. He put to death in the body, but made alive in the spirit. So on that day, that Good Friday that we remember, so much happened that determines our future and undergirds our faith in what we believe, that Christ died for us when we were yet sinners. So it's a day to celebrate that, not what they did to Jesus during that awful day, but what Jesus did for us by dying on the cross and shedding his blood and saving us from sin. Again, talk about the program, the speakers, and where people can get tickets again.
Okay. Just one comment, too, about the Good Friday prayer breakfast beginning of the weekend. My wife comments to people that it's a great way to start that weekend. Mm-hmm. And as you were talking there, it made me think of those two events, Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday, are two of the three most important events in yes. history and in Jesus' life. First, he was right. born, which obviously that's important, but then the next two are the Good Friday, which he died on the cross for us, the sinners that we didn't deserve, and then, of course, Resurrection Sunday, so that he conquered sin with his life. But as far as tickets, again, they're available at Lemstone Christian Bookstore, and they're $22.50, includes breakfast, and you can buy a table, or like I said earlier, you can buy a priority table, which gets you closer to the speaker, the front, the stage, if you will, or you can buy a priority table and a business card ad in the program, and so that's the way the tickets are purchased through Lemstone.
Okay, and you have a website that people can go to get those?
Yes, it's goodfridayprayerbreakfast.org, and like I said, there's 3 pages. The first page shows the information, like the price of the ticket, where it's at, the DoubleTree downtown. It shows who the speaker is, and our mission statement is on there, and in the mission statement, I should have it memorized, but it basically says that we are celebrating Jesus' death. And they use the word celebrate to celebrate a death. The two almost don't go together, except right. you, as a Christian, you know they do go together.
They do, yes, so. They do.
Yeah.
Well, it's a wonderful thing that you do, and we want to certainly invite everybody to come and to avail themselves of the opportunity to come and be a part of that. It is a wonderful way to start the Easter weekend, and it really gets you in the frame of mind that you should. As we read from the scripture earlier about all that Jesus went through on that day, and the condemnation that he must have felt. Not only the physical pain, but just being humiliated, and the things that went on that day, and Pontius Pilate attempted in a weak way to shift the blame off onto the Jews and to kind of make this thing go away, but the Jewish hierarchy there was having no part of that, and shouted out that he be crucified, and was turned over, and was. It's a very passionate story, on that particular day. But then we look forward to Easter Sunday, and the sun comes up again.
Yeah.
And Christ is risen, and it's a joyous, joyous day.
Right. One other thought I had was my wife that day always asked me, are you going to do this again next year? And of course, I have a lot of people helping and supporters and that. And so as far as next year, I thought, well, I would like to invite Tim Tebow and introduce him to my daughter, which she will kill me when I say that. But anyway, I don't think he could do any better. And then the next year, I'd just invite Jesus back, and then we'd be all done.
Yeah, we'd be done. That would be great. Well, I certainly thank you for being here and being part of this program and coming to us on Connect. Our program Connect is an effort to connect people with God, showing what ministries are taking place right in our midst. Oftentimes we don't know about them, and it's a neat way to do that, and just connect with God through television. And we just have a wonderful time doing that.
Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be on. And it's just exciting to see a new Christian TV station in the area, and I hope you can grow some more in Cedar Rapids through I'm On or whatever it would take. That would be really helpful, because we need that in this community. And so I appreciate the opportunity to be on here, and thank you for what you guys are doing.
Well, thanks very much, and we do appreciate that. And we want to thank Gerald Wheeland and C&J Video Productions for helping us out with taping this program here in Cedar Rapids. And we hope you enjoy the program on Connect. We hope you'll take advantage of the opportunity to buy tickets and come to the Good Friday Prayer Breakfast in Cedar Rapids. That'll be on April 3rd. That's a Friday morning. Hope you enjoy the program. We'll see you again next week.